Hello, I'm Karen, and in today's video I'm sharing with you how to make the easiest Tudor rose. So this is the rose. This is the smaller version. I will show you the bigger version and show you how to get to that stage as well. So for this project you're going to need a 4mm crochet hook. I'll put that to one side. I've got my little board here today because I'm just using this paler colour. It's lovely dusky pinks. Okay, so you're going to need to leave a tail end which is about a hook and a half long, and you're going to begin with a twist, and we're going to make a chain of 8 in total, but we're going to pinch so far through. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, pinch hold of the work, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we're going to work stitches. I'm going to just put my hook through there just ready. So for this particular project we're going to be using how many times we count over. So when we yarn over we're going to count all of those. Okay, so this is 1, 2, so that's stitch number 2. I know they've got names, don't worry about that, it's to help you as we get bigger with these. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, and into the end that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and we're going to need to keep doing that same stitch in the end, and we need to do that so we've got a total of 8 of them as we go around. So, and as you see with these, as they increase, you'll see how everything matches, and you can see the sequences of them. Okay, let's just have a little stop and count how many stitches I've done. So you've got to make sure that your stitches that you're counting are actually inside that center loop. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need to do one more. Oops, just one right. So that's the 8th stitch. Now we're going to come down, we're going to yarn over, we're going to go into the space we've already worked, so underneath the 2 strands this time. Yarn over, pull through, so that's 2. Yarn over is 3. Into the end 1, 1, 2, and then into the hole we've got at the end, you're going to put your hook through, pull it all the way through, which is just 1. And that's the end of there. I know it's called a slip stitch. Chain 1, and now we're going to slip stitch. Yeah, just back into that same space. I'll split my yarn. Now we're going to work a single crochet or a double crochet depending where you're from. So it's 1 and a 1 in there, so we've done 2 up. Then we're going to work 2 stitches in each of the stitches up to the top, so we've got a total of 8 because we're going to do 2 in the next 4, so that's 4 stitches. I like to count, I've got my tail ends tangled up, to 8 so that I know where I'm at. How many stitches have I done in that stitch now? I've stopped. 2 into that one and into the top there. So I've got my 8 stitches, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then we're going to do a chain of 3, and then we're going to work 2 stitches into the next 4 stitches going down. So that's 2, 6, and 8. Then we're going to work 1 stitch into the next 2 stitches. That's 1 in there, 1 in there, and then we're going to slip stitch into the slip stitch to finish. Okay, and now leave your tail end a little bit longer, about half a hook longer than your beginning tail end. You're going to need those for sewing up, and I just leave longer tail ends to make life easier. Okay, so what we're going to do now is pull your tail end. Don't need to pull it overly tight because you need to put your hook back through. So because we're going to do the fold of the petal, we're going to put the hook through the hole, into that hole there, and then as we count the yarns over, we're going to come through. So it's 1, and you're going to go into the middle, 2, 3, and 4. And this tail end, you are going to need to sew that tail end in. Okay, if your little fold is a little bit wonky, because it is actually just on the chain, you can maneuver it around. So you need to make 5 of those. Yep, so that's for that size there. I'm going to put that there. Right, so now I'm going to use the green, because no matter whether you're doing the petal, this next petal, or that one, they're both the same size. And I just think, I was going to say I think it'd be easier, but my yarn's getting stuck. Look at that. Let's just get that untangled a minute. Okay, we should be able to work with that now. So the next size up, leave your tail end, same length, about a hook and a half long, and then you begin with a twist. So this one we're going to do a chain of 10, but this time around we're going to pinch on stitch number 5. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pinch, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, we're going to do the yarning over count, so it's going to be in 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Oops, I've split my yarn. 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to need to make 10 of these in the end, because we began with a chain of 10. Yeah, so hopefully you can see. So then what happens is you go up to a chain of 12 for the next size up, which would then have, and you remember you'd be yarning over, so you've got to make sure you count yarn. That one you end up with 8 yarns over at the end stitch. And if you, the next size up is 14 chains, you do 14 stitches in the very end, and that time you'll be doing 10 yarns over in total. Let's just count how many stitches I've got. So remember, look, we're looking for what's in the middle, because sometimes this looks really close. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2 more stitches to do. And whoops. And then we start to work down. So now we're going to go back down the stitches, so it's going to be yarning over twice into the space we've already worked. So that's 3, 4, and then pull through all stitches, which is stitch number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and into the end is number 1. And for this one, you still do, so you're doing a chain 1, slip stitch back into there, and then you're going to be doing these stitches. So as you're working up here, you're just going to do it's this stitch number 2 goes 1, 2, 3, and then stitch number 4 there. And then you're going to be starting to work in what are the edge stitches. So you're going to do your 2 stitches in each of those, and so you make it to, so on this one we did a chain of 10, we did 10 stitches in the end, and we need to do 10 stitches to get to the top. And then we're going to do exactly the same thing that we did with the other one. So we're at the top there, and we do 1, 2, 3, and then you work back down the other side, still doing the 2 stitches, and all of the petals and leaves working exactly the same way. Just going to get this one finished, and then once we've done this one, I'll show you, we've got I'll show you how to sew them together so that you understand that, so you can see how easy that is. And we've got the button in the middle to be able to make as well. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3. Did I just do that wrong? Because I was talking to you. I think I did. Come back there. I think I did 2 stitches in that stitch there, which should have only had, well, let's go 2, 4, 6, 8. No, they should have had 2 in it. That's correct. There, and then back down to there, and slip stitch into there to finish. And remember to leave your tail end a little bit longer on this piece, because you're just going to be sewing together. It just makes your life easier. And yes, there is a lot of sewing. I'm not going to deny it. There is a lot of sewing for this particular pattern. Right, so when you're doing this one, so this particular size, you do that for this size petal and for this size leaf. So because we're doing it as a leaf, we're going to just go into the middle. So you say you pull that as tight as you want to, but you've got to get your hook to be able to go through. And then you're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, just for the sake of just showing you the fascinations of this particular pattern, so even though that we counted 6 yarns over, we've only got 5 chains. Remember, that one we had to pinch at number 5, and this one had 4 chains over, 4 yarn over, but we've only ended up with 3 chains, and that one we had to pinch at 3. So they're your main pieces that you need to make. And now we're going to show you, I think I'll show you, actually no, let's do the button first. Let's do a button. Right, so for the button, I still like to leave my long tail ends. For this one, you're going to begin with a magic circle. So you're going to go under yarn, catch over, and do a chain of 1, she said. And I've just literally split the yarn doing that, so we'll start that again. There and there. I'm just going to pull that a little bit tighter there because it's a bit of a big hole. And we need to work 8 stitches. So this is the stitch number 2. But we're working 8 of them. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And then we slip stitch to join in the first one, and then we leave a tail end there. Move that out of the way. Now for this particular one, I'm just going to just show you, because we need my needle. Where's my needle gone? There it is. Right, so I'm just going to thread this one and sort out a button first. So to make the buttons, you actually have to do 2 of them, but you've got to get them prepared. So for this, where we've finished, I've gone back into the same stitch I've worked, pull through, come back up, and then go back again. So I've done it 3 times. That will just help keep your button in a nice shape. Pull your tail end nice and tight, and then you're going to just literally come underneath one of the stitches at the back and have that there. So that is a button that is in its prepared stage. Okay, it's not obviously not completed. I'll show you how to complete the button. Shall we do buttons straight away? Let's do buttons straight away. I have 2 I've made earlier. Put that there. So when you've got your 2 buttons, yep, you're going to do a crossover like that. And then you're going to do a crossover again like that. And then hold that to there, so that's nice. And then just pull. And yes, initially it looks like a wonky button, don't worry. You sew your tail ends in. So let's do it. So obviously, if you're doing a 2-coloured button, they don't have to be 2-coloured, by the way. You can do them of the same colour. This is what it looks like when I'm doing bundles of them. So let's just get this tail end sewn into here. You just literally just come underneath your stitches into there, so that's tidy. And then cut your yarn off. There. And the same with the other side. These, when they're finished, remind me of little, is it macaron? the little, like little cakey, biscuity. They're very nice anyway. So this has got to go into the yellow side. When you're doing them just one colour, it doesn't matter. You can just sew your tail ends into one piece if you want. There. Okay, so then you just wiggle your button a bit and you pinch it. Nice and tight. And so you've got your little button, okay? So we're going to leave that one there for a minute because we need that one in a minute. Right, so I'm going to show you how to join these. So when you're making all of your sets, this is the bigger size up. All I've done is just used an end piece of yarn just to loop them together in groups of 5, because I am actually making it into a blanket. I've sewn in all of those middle tail ends, and so what you do is you get one of these pieces, then you get your second one. Okay, so these always work where you put them face to face. So that obviously is the front and that's the back. Line up your pieces there. You can use your tail end just to guide you. So if you look where these stitches finished going into the middle there, just put that through there. And the same on this side, put that through there. You can pin everything together if you want to, but just line up and just roughly, that's just your guide. And we want this tail end. So that's going to go into what I call that stitch there. It's sort of a bit of an ugly stitch, to be fair. And we're just going to literally go in, we're working into the back loops of the actual chain, and we're just doing a running stitch. So you're going to come underneath the back loop of that one, the back loop of that one. And the reason why the marker's there is just to stop you, because you can get carried away. But that's the correct point to stop so that they sit nicely. So we come up to there, and we'll just do one more there. And what I like to do is just come back down a little bit, because we want to keep it nice and secure into there, like so. I've split the yarn on that one, that's okay, because we want it to stay put. And we're just going to just cut that off there. Okay, and you're just going to then you move on to your next piece. So you've got this piece, you thread your needle and you start joining until you make your complete circle, which will look something like that if you've done the leaves, or it'll look like that if you've done the petals. And this is where let's use this one, and I'll use the white yarn so you can see the stitches. So this is where you decide what colours you're doing for your buttons. So whatever you're doing in the middle. I've lost my hook. That's a common thing to do. Right, so you begin with a twist on your hook, and you go into any one of these loops, and you make this, which is the double crochet in the UK. Yep. And you just go literally one in each of these things. It's easier, if I'm being honest, on the bigger pieces because of the way that they fold. The little pieces tend to get a little bit more fiddly, but at the end of the day, if you're determined to do it, you will. And I was. Okay, so we're done to the end, and so then you find your beginning stitch, and you've got a little tail end bit there, and you want to loop, you want to put your hook underneath there because you're going to slip stitch to join. Okay, and at this point, there, I like to pull that through there, and then what you're going to do is just make sure that this is nice and tight this side there, like that. And then I like to tie my knot first, the first knot anyway. So do one knot there, and then hook through there and pull through the other side. And as you can see on the back, you can see it makes a 5-pointed star. Okay, so that's you do that on all of your pieces, so you've got them all together. So I'm going to get my other pieces that I've already made. This one I left that one there so you can see, because what I did is I just wrapped the yarn around that one, but it was in case I couldn't see the star properly on the other one. So I'm just going to cut this tail end off there. Okay, so this one I've got my yellow piece. Get your button, and you're going to push your button through the hole in the middle, like so. Then we're going to get the red piece and push the button through the middle of that one there. And then we're going to get the final piece, this green piece, get the hole in the middle, get the button through there like that, and then you're just going to just line it all up, so to make it be right. So you've got your points coming out, you've got your petals in the middle there, you've got the petals middle there, and that is your finished Tudor rose. Obviously the smaller size, it's a little bit more sturdy. This one I feel like is a bit floppy. Yep. And so because all of this was to do with my research, where I was demonstrating that Queen Elizabeth I wrote the Voynich manuscript, I just want to just share this added little bit. So if you remember, if you watched my other video, I did do, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I did do these flowers. These petals here are that's just the beginning of it, before we put the edging on it. So that's all they are. These are the increases of sizes, and there's 26 in this one, because there was 6, 8 and 10 of those, and the 2 buttons, which made 26. And I was thinking there should be 52, because we've got the uppercase and the lowercase of the alphabet. So if I can move this out of the way. Now, before I bring this next piece over, please note all of the red buttons are not part of the actual sequence of this pattern. They're just to point out these 10 points. Okay. So this, let me just make sure I'm getting everything right. So there we go. Look, so that's the very middle Tudor rose. And then what we can do is we can build it into a blanket, and they're all joined with buttons and all the pieces, and we have to add a square in it. And it ended up that because each button is made of 2 pieces, so there's 26 buttons, excluding these ones, which mean, yes, 26 of these buttons, so there's, in total, there's 52 buttons. So I knew when I got to this stage, I was like, oh, I found my 52. But as you can see from the colours that I've got, I'm actually going to be making, I want to make a bigger version of it. And for the sake of the coded side of things, we just want to point out, so this is the shorthand version, as in writing in UK terms. So we've got chain 8, we stopped at the 3rd stitch, pinched, worked a double crochet, a half treble crochet, and we did a treble crochet 8 times, a half treble, a double crochet and a slip. And round 2 we did chain 1, slip, double crochet in 2, 2 double crochet in 4, chain 3, 2 double crochet in 4. Okay, and so this ended up creating Elizabeth's when we did it that way round. Round 2 created a petal recipe book, and historically they used to call a pattern a recipe, and that kept crochet a secret. They used a 4mm hook, a stitch named a treble, and it was written in English. And as you can see, all of those words there are all made up of 23 pieces of these, just so that you can see. And there's 8 of those. And in the manuscript, as I was saying, the treble crochet stitch is represented by the number 8. But once we'd completed everything, there's 26 pieces. So when Elizabeth became queen in 1558, she made changes to letter 10 and created 5 vowels, A, E, I, O and U. So the alphabet had a total of 26 letters. And so I do believe that the code's all completed, and also that realistically the book that is known as the Voynich manuscript is actually Queen Elizabeth's petal recipe book. And I just wanted to point out, I wanted to go all the way back to my first word that I ever realised what it was, and it's here, this here. So we're on page 2R. It's pictures of what looks like thistles, and you can count 4 lines down and it's the second effectively word, or 4 lines up and it's the second word. And that is this here, which is, it looks like that in the book, which makes these letters here, which is just an anagram of crochet. So I think that we've found enough, and especially with finding the Tudor rose, I mean, come on. But there we go. that's it. I think I'm done. If you did want me to actually demonstrate how to do the next stitches up so you could get these neck sizes up, then do let me know. Obviously, I've just explained how you do it. Realistically, it's just to do with maths. But thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. Thank you. Just thank you for everything. If those of you that's followed me through this journey where when I found the code, I was trying to work it out. I've made loads of mistakes over the years. But then to get to this stage to show that there's enough evidence there to prove that it is Queen Elizabeth I's book. Thank you for that. I appreciate you being with me for this journey. Bye for now.